Hello, my name is Drew Matson. This is a demo reel that is going to describe some work I've done in the project Spacebugs. I created this project in Unity, pretty handy, free engine tool. The project itself is an RTS, three-dimensional space RTS, in which you have drones collect resources from asteroids and bring them back to the hive. Pretty straightforward. One of the biggest obstacles I encountered while working on the prototype was creating group selection. There was really no built-in functions at all that kind of described how to do it. I did a lot of looking around in the forums. There really wasn't any hints or tips or much of anything that kind of described how to do accurate three-dimensional traditional group selection where you draw a box on the screen and all units within that box are selected, and then the player is allowed to give orders or commands to those particular objects that are selected. So I did some thinking. First did some experiments using ray casting, which is what I use for a single individual selection, but it became pretty obvious pretty quick through thought and through experimentation that it wouldn't select objects behind other objects, and that it wouldn't be able to work in the sense that it is not heuristically efficient. It's very intensive to have a bunch of these raycasts going, especially when you have many pixels that you would need a raycast on to get even close to an accurate representation of what you're selecting. So I had to move to something else, which the next idea, which is obviously the best solution, which is creating a trigger that detects all the objects within it, packs it into an array, and sends it back to the controller. In order to do this, I first tried using the 3ds Max tool and creating boxes in a cone shape, which is the shape of a perspective, with the first 4 points representing the first 4 origin points of where you're drawing the box, and then the latter 4 points are stretched out, representing as the perspective increases. That didn't work. Scaling doesn't really work in the sense of 3ds Max, where you can just pull the vertices apart really easily in Unity. Well, you can, but that might as well just make the box at that point, which is what I eventually moved onto, which is done in this script here. I gather the locations clicked on the screen, and then when we can tell here that it detects to see if the player drew a box, and if they drew a box, it does the selection cube, which actually makes the mesh for the group selection. It takes the first 4 points and uses ray casting in order to generate the last 4 vertices for the box, which you have them all here. Puts them all together to create a box. And we have here, it takes all the vertices and makes triangles, so it has the correct normals on it so that it can be a proper trigger. Then here we have those all added together. We add on a collider so it detects collisions, make it a trigger, make it convex so it detects objects within it, and then we add the script that actually does the detection, which is right here. Uses the trigger. If there's anything within the trigger, it adds it to an array if it is both unique and selectable, and once it has checked everything, it returns it to the controller, which then the controller can give orders either through movement commands or build commands, that sort of thing. Which we'll demo that here. So we got basic stubs I've put in for while I'm prototyping it. This is a drone, this is a hive. If you select the drone, you see that green cone means that it's selected. If you press M, it gets you a movement GUI. Press M again, and then it moves to the circle on the movement GUI. So now we want to select the hive, and there's the hive GUI. You tell it to build a drone, which is right there. So build the drone, sent that guy out. Oh, let's kind of hide in there. Get him to move out of there. There we go. And then we're going to move them closer to each other just to make it a little easier to see the group selection. So we got 2 objects on the screen. You can even group selection to select one, or I can just click to select the individual unit. Or you can group select, drew a box from there to there, and it selected both units. And I've already built in some movement functions for group selection so that they go in a formation, specifically line formation, and move around. And I even built the movement selections to based on height as well. As you can see there, I can change the height. Thank you for watching my demo reel. That's all the time I have today.